Good evening, everybody. Let's see if you can hear me and see me now. Um, let's see if you can see and hear me now. Hopefully you guys got the invitation. Hey, Jackie. Okay, great. So it is working now. Sorry, the one that I had scheduled for earlier, I don't know what happened. Nobody could see me or hear me. Hello there. Let me see if I can tag some people so they will know that I am live. So give me just one moment. Give me one moment, Jackie. Okay, I see heart, so that means that you can hear me and see me now. Hey, Rebecca, thank you so much for coming back in. Now, I had to invite some people separately, so I'm going to give it a minute because I don't know what happened with the last video, probably because I was trying out new software and I didn't need to do that. But I was just trying to make it easier, and sometimes technology works to your advantage, and well, you guys know, sometimes it doesn't. So couple more minutes. Hey there. I'm also checking my phone to make sure everybody got the notification, so I'm certainly not ignoring you. Give me just 1 second. I just had somebody ask me if I was live, and I told her that I was live on Facebook. All right, so let me send out one more email. Make sure that I did not forget anyone. Try one more person. Okay, so let's see here. All right, perfect. So we'll give it a couple of more minutes. I just re-invited everyone who was invited or who asked to be a part of this initial training. And we'll give them a couple of minutes to get on, but no worries. I'll make sure that I cover everything that I want to cover on tonight. By the way, if you have not had an opportunity to check your email, please do so. I did put in there a copy of the anthology contract that I used for my anthology that was released in October of 2017. That contract has been reviewed by my attorney here, but that is in the state of South Carolina. But I gifted that to you guys so that you can see some of the language that I included, some of the legal language, as well as some of the responsibilities of the creator of the project, as well as the contributing authors of the project. So please go back and check your emails and read and review that. Thank you, Rebecca. This is something that it's a Microsoft Word document, so whatever changes you want to make to it, however you want to adopt it, is perfectly fine. All you have to do is just go on there and make the necessary changes and adjustments. And if you want to, that's just my contract. You know, you would have to have yours reviewed for whatever state that you're in. But, you know, if you want to look at some other contracts, you can, you know, I don't know if people will willingly share those things. I do. But then again, everybody is not like me. Hey, Robin, everybody's not like me. So I did include a sample of that for you guys. And I will wait a couple of more minutes so that we can have folks to join us on the video. Again, I did start late, not sure what happened with my first one. So we deleted it, and we are here broadcasting live from my personal page. But of course, this is a private Facebook training for you all. I have a lot of notes to share with you on tonight, and I do also want to make sure that I'm leaving about 10 or 15 minutes at the end so that you can ask me any questions that may be pressing on your mind, or if there's something that I covered that you need more clarity on, then please let me know what you need. Please let me know what you need. Okay, let me try one more time. Check my invitation list, so y'all give me 1 second. I think I have everyone. I think I am good. Excuse me 1 second. I have somebody that's having a little issue joining us, so give me 1 minute. And I also know that a couple of people couldn't join us because of Bible study, or they know that they would gain access through the replay. So if they knew that they were going to be able to watch the replay. So you guys will have that access as well. Now, I'm not leaving this video up on my Facebook news feed. I am taking it down on tomorrow night at this time. So please make sure that you download this video at some time between the next 24 hours, so that you'll always have it, because once it's off of my news feed, it is gone. And I'll have to make sure that I download it myself. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so that we are not belaboring the time. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the Anthologies 101 Paying to Publish the Right Way special training. I wanted to do this training specifically for anthologies because I do see their sort of rise to fame, if you will. I see that anthologies are getting a lot of notoriety. Hey, Brenda. I see that anthologies are gaining a lot of notoriety. A lot of people are creating them, they're presenting them, they're participating in them. But I just believe in teaching you the basic process and fundamentals of what it means to really participate in a project that is quality and value based, not only from a contributing author perspective, but also from a creator perspective, because there are responsibilities on both ends, right? There are responsibilities on both ends. Now, whether you have considered creating your own anthology, whether you are considering participating in an anthology, or whether you have already created an anthology but you want to refine your process for the next edition, you are most definitely in the right place. I will share a lot of tips that I have learned. I'm also sharing information from anthology projects that I have helped to co-manage in the past. Currently, I am working on one. I am project managing an anthology project, and I'm also being considered for another. So, again, you'll see them a lot more than you would probably in recent years. So let's just make sure that when folks are investing their money into us to participate in these book projects, that we are offering them something of value. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to share 5 tips right now, and strategies, and also some warnings to help you as you are putting your project together. So I hope that you grab pen and paper so that you can take good notes, and so that if a question does come to your mind, you are able to get it answered, okay, so that you don't forget it. Now, here are some initial responsibilities for the compiler. First, the first responsibility of the compiler is to add value. The whole reason that people will invest their money into us by way of sowing a seed into themselves is because of the value that they believe that we can bring to them and to their personal project. Right? The value that we can bring to them as well as to their personal brands, excuse me. So we always think value first. And anthology is not about the money. An anthology is not about the money. It's not about the notoriety of the person that's created the project, whether they have 500 followers or 5,000 followers. It's not about that. It is about the value that you are not only giving to your audience, but it's also about the value that you are sharing with the contributing authors of your project, whether that is 3, 5, 10, or 20. Make sure that you are providing something significant and of value, okay? So think value first. Here are some examples of value, and this is also shared in the contract that I submitted to you. So when we talk about value, I'm talking about what are you willing to offer them? Whenever anyone invests their money, right? Because people don't have to invest their money in you. People don't have to invest their money in you. People don't have to pay for your products, programs, services, in this case, your book. People don't have to do that. They choose to do that because they believe that you can add something of value to their life. They believe that you can add some sort of substance substance to their life. They believe that their partnership with you will help to increase them in some capacity. So as the creators of these anthology projects, it is very important to make sure that you are thinking value first. Before you create any meme for social media, before you hold any call, before you send out any email, sit down and think about the value that you are willing to offer those participants in your project. Here are some examples, and I may switch back and forth. Some examples of value is how think about the number of books that you may want to give them, the number of free copies that you want to give them for investing into the project. 5, 10, 20, 15. I've seen upwards of 50 or more. So think about the number of books that you want to offer to your contributing authors. If you want to do that, maybe you want to just connect them with a distribution and a printing company to help them maybe purchase their books at wholesale at their own cost. So that's something to think about when you're talking about value. What other sorts of education and training components can you provide for them? I am a teacher at my heart, right? I am a teacher at my heart. Hence, the reason that we are doing this teaching on tonight is because my gift shows up really good in the area of education. I am big on teaching people the process, because sometimes we skip the process because we only want to get to the end result. But it's the process that really perfects us so that we can get to the desired end result, right? So think about copies that you want to offer them. Think about education and training opportunities that you want to offer them. Can you schedule a media and public relations professional to teach them about pitching to the media, or developing a press release, or giving them some sort of training, or maybe collaborating with a person who has their own radio show, Facebook live show, YouTube live show, to offer them some interviews. So value, what's in it for them? What can you offer them that will immediately solidify their yes? Now, that is going to be different for every single brand, because every brand cannot offer the same thing as it pertains to these individual projects, nor should we aspire to. We are all individual people, and therefore we all have something to offer to our audience. And if we aren't sure of what our audience needs, that's time for us to go back to the drawing board and start asking some of those more pertinent questions to them. Start asking them what their needs are. Create a filler post and say, hey, everybody, I'm thinking about creating this anthology on this particular subject matter. Would you be interested? If you were to participate in a project like mine, what offerings would you be looking for? A simple question like that, where you're asking their feedback, where they immediately feel involved in the project and that they matter, I can pretty much promise you that those people are going to join you. They're going to pay whatever the investment is, and they're going to join you in their project. Why? Because you took it from the standpoint of value, right? You took it from the standpoint of value. Okay, so that is the first tip. Second tip is this: live up to your brand's promise, right? Piggybacking off of point number 1. Point number 2, live up to your brand's promise. Do not charge $3,000 per author for an anthology if your brand cannot deliver on $3,000 worth of value. Somebody's going to catch that later. Do not charge $3,000 per contributing author for an anthology project if your brand cannot deliver $3,000 worth of value at least, right? Some of these anthologies are hitting people over the head with money, and I'm not mad about what you charge for whatever your project is. Your fee schedule is your fee schedule. But what I'm saying to you is in the context of these large group projects, you got to be able to deliver based according to the dollar amount that you have assessed. So if you are a new beginner in this, and maybe you're thinking, well, gosh, I only want people to invest $50 into this anthology project. Cool. Can you deliver $50 worth of value per contributing author? Does $50 meet your needs financially? Will you be able to get a profit off of $50? These are all of the questions that have to be considered. Okay. So make sure that you live up to your brand's promise. Now, if you are looking for a guide of what to charge for your anthology project, Industry standard is a broad range because, again, it depends on the creator. So I've seen personal anthology projects from $497 up to $2,997, right? But I also know people that have charged $10,000 plus for coaching programs for anthologies. Okay, so industry standard, there's really not necessarily an industry standard that says you have to be within this particular price range. The thing that we have to keep in mind is that branding, when it comes to investment, is about perceived value. Again, value. It's about value. So think about what it is that you can offer, how you can deliver on that, and then charge accordingly. Yes. The title of this video is Paying to Publish the Right Way. Anthology is a pay to publish opportunity, which means there should be some financial investment, right? There should be some financial investment. Hold on one second. Right? Let's see here. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 minute. I'm sorry. People are still trying to access us, so give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. See if I can tag somebody. Give me 1 minute. Thank y'all so much for your patience. I didn't think that this would be so hard. Like, how easy is it to do a Facebook Live video? But I guess not. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so I just tagged those two ladies. Let's hopefully they can catch it. Let's see. Okie dokie. Okay, so I'm keeping it moving. So the first point was about making sure that is understanding your first responsibility as the compiler is to add value to your program. Your next responsibility is to make sure that you are living up to your brand's promise, right? So making sure that you are charging a dollar amount that is appropriate for the promise that your brand can deliver on. So that is the second tip. Point number 3, and I alluded to this in point number 2, is that, again, anthologies are a pay to publish opportunity, which means that there should be a financial investment. Now, here is what I often find when it comes to anthologies is there is a lot of conversation about people participating in them. Why? Because people don't understand why it is that you would invest your money to participate in a project with someone else when you can take that money, right, and invest in your own project. That is a very worthy argument. Would you agree? That is a very worthy argument. What I say to these individuals is this. When it comes to anthology projects, again, it is about perceived value. For many people, their first time around, they choose to participate in anthologies, right, rather than publish their own book so that they can get familiar with the publishing process, essentially on somebody else's dime. Does that make sense? Right? Essentially on somebody else's dime. I mean, yes, sure, you've had to make a financial investment, but this is you learning how to write and publish your story as a part of a larger project. And that takes the pressure off of your shoulders, meaning you don't have to worry about getting the book edited. You don't have to worry about, finding a publisher. You don't have to worry about finding a distributing company. You don't have to worry about hiring a graphics designer. So there are a lot of there are a lot of benefits to participating in an anthology project, right? There are a lot of benefits to participating in that. Now, the thing that I want you guys to remember when you hear this argument is to, one, understand that people can only speak from their place of perception, from their point of perception. People can only understand from their point of perception. Some people will never understand why you are choosing to participate in an anthology, and that's okay, right? That's okay. You're not here to prove or validate or give reasons why you are choosing to have people pay to be a part of your project. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to make sure that whatever the investment is that you're asking, you're assigning the appropriate value. So I hope that that makes sense. So, because the chatter that I hear is, you know, why invest your money? There's no real return of investment. Well, yes, it is, because at the end of the day, whether you are choosing to participate in an anthology or publishing your own book, guess what? The marketing and the promotions is still your responsibility. So if you aren't hustling, if you aren't talking about your book, if you aren't hustling, if you aren't talking about your book, if you are not marketing and promoting yourself, if you are not marketing or promoting yourself, sorry, let me tell this author she's just going to have to watch the replay. Okay, so technology, honey, technology. So anyway, so understand that there will be some positive chatter as well as some negative chatter. So as that comes around, just understand that you don't have to prove to anyone, you don't have to validate your reasons why, you just have to make sure that you deliver on what it is that you have promised to deliver. The fourth responsibility for the creator of a project is this: show them how to be able to leverage your brand to provide maximum visibility and the return on their investment. And here's what I mean. This goes back to the whole brand promise thing. As a creator of an anthology project, as someone who has a large growing brand, as someone who has a large Facebook community, a large following, lots of clients on my roster, a full-time entrepreneur, you know, there are a lot of things that are attached to my brand, which makes, whenever I am working on a project, makes it very attractive for people to want to attach themselves, because I really believe in leveraging my brand and my platforms to the benefit of those that choose to join me in a particular project, right? So be able to show them how you are going to be able to leverage your brand to help them gain more visibility, right? How will you leverage your brand? What is your brand? Can they immediately identify with your brand's message? Because your brand is not about your pretty colors and your beautiful photos. Your brand is about your message, your promise, how you reach your audience. Can you deliver on the leverage that you have promised them? What is the leverage that you can give them? Because I believe that when you participate in an anthology, one of the greatest things for that is that you are able to then help them to launch their own personal and private libraries. So not only are they able to gain the leverage that you're offering them from a creator's perspective, they are also able to start their own personal library so that they can then go on out and leverage their own participation. Does that make sense? So you leveraging your brand leads to them leveraging their brand in whatever capacity it is that they can serve, right? So being able to, again, offer that value, that perceived value, understanding on what your brand can deliver, and also leverage. Because if they are ever sitting at a room or at a table or having a conversation with someone, they can then say to them, ma'am or sir, here is what I have been able to do thus far. If you were to attach your brand to mine, here is what I can offer you. I was a contributing author in this project called XYZ Scope. I don't know. And there were 20 authors who joined me. We have been able to, individually grow our brands by 500 plus members. We have all increased, our social media following by 15%. What are the things that you can help them to leverage so that they can use this opportunity to grow them in some capacity, right? So what is the leverage that you can use them to grow them in some capacity? Now, another thing, y'all let me know if I'm talking too fast, because I know the tagging of people is a little distracting, but I hope that you can follow me. So the last tip for the compiler is this, is think about, again, some marketing tips. What are the ways that you can show them how to write and publish? How to publish and promote, how to promote and market their book. Now, it helps if you have written a book your own, if you have written a book first, so you can share some of your own personal and professional knowledge, right? But if you haven't, be willing to bring somebody on who has experience in that area, right? Who has expertise in that particular arena, because again, the whole point of them making this financial investment is so that they can grow in some capacity, right? It's so that they can grow in some capacity. The next thing is also showing them how they can recoup their investment. That is big, right? How they can recoup their investment. That is big. So if you can show them whatever you're going to charge, $297, for example, if you are charging them $297 to submit their story for your project, be able to show them how they can at least recoup that $297 back. Right? So be able to show them how they can at least recoup that $297, okay? Now, whether that is in the free copies of the books that you're going to give them so they can sell them at whatever the price is that you have assigned for the project. Side note, if you have created an anthology, it needs to be at least $19.99 and above, or $19.97 and above, right? So never charge anything less than $19.97 for a book that is filled with contributing authors. You want to make sure that they can recoup their financial investment, right? And so if you charge $297, you have a book that is $20, that means that they need to sell what? 10, 15 copies, and they will have recouped their financial investment. And so anything else on top of that is a profit. Right? So anything else on top of that is a profit. So you want to be able to show them at minimum how they can recoup their financial investment. And I believe that a great way to do that is by offering them some sort of marketing tips. Give them some sort of marketing tips, strategy, because everything is about strategy. These are, give them some basic steps, some tutorials, some videos, or again, a training with a public relations and media professional that can walk them through some things that they have been able to do, right, as it pertains to them promoting their book. So those are some of the 5 initial tips and strategies that I wanted to share with you from the creator or the compiler of the anthologies, of the anthology project. So you'll have some idea, especially if you want to create one in 2018, you'll have some idea of what it is that you are responsible, what it is that you're responsible for, and what it is that you need to do. Okay. Now, here's something else that I want you to remember. Number 3 was that it is a pay to publish opportunity. So, which means that people that there needs to be some sort of financial investment, right? I'm going to my phone so I can make sure that I'm not missing any questions. There needs to be some sort of financial investment. Okay, there needs to be some sort of financial investment. Now, I've also seen anthologies where they have not charged the authors to submit their stories, but all they asked for was maybe some sort of motivational quote, or some sort of phrase or thought or something to that effect, where that was all that they were submitting, an affirmation or something like that. So, you can charge free if you want. I just believe that when people invest their money, they tend to be a little bit more committed. Right? Isn't that true with us? When we pay for something, when we use our hard-earned money and we pay for something, we tend to be a little bit more invested. So you can get out of us what it is that you need to get out of us. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, any questions before I move on to talking about a team and talking about something else? Any other questions? I don't think I've seen any, but I'm trying to scroll back through. You're welcome, Jackie. Yeah, that is true, right? That there'll be some, we tend to work a little bit harder to do what it is that we have been asked to do. Okay. So that is that. Now, here is something else that I want you guys to keep in mind. Two things. When it comes to anthologies, there are two things that you have to keep in mind. The first is people management, and the second is expectation management. I'm going to say those again. The first is people management, and the next is expectation management. Why am I saying that? Because anthologies have a number of contributing authors. If this is not their first time participating in an anthology, they know what to expect. They are seasoned. For the newbie, and this is their first time participating in an anthology, there will be some challenges because there is a huge learning curve. Okay, so if you don't do well, if you don't do well with managing multiple personalities, or that is not your strong suit, then again, I would encourage you to bring on some sort of project manager that can help you with that. That's people management. Coupled with people management is expectation management, right? Coupled with people management is expectation management. Y'all know what I mean by that? Is you have to manage people's expectations. So again, leading back to my earlier point, if you have to live up to whatever it is that your brand has promised, why? Because people are going to expect that. And if at any time what you have to change needs to be altered, then you need to be honest as the creator and have some conversation. Gone are the days where you can say, well, God changed the direction. I don't even know what that means. I've invested my money. You need to be a little bit more clear. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with people going spiritual, but don't go spiritual when it comes to my money. You can't give me a clear explanation. Just keeping it all the way real. Okay, so people will have expectations based off of what it is that you have said that you can offer, right? People will have expectations based off of what it is that you say that you can offer. So keep in mind that you got to deliver on that, right? You got to deliver on that. And when you deliver on that, that helps to keep their expectations under control. Now, as with any group activity, large or small, you're going to have your 2 or 3 that are going to constantly challenge you. I can tell you, when I was hosting my own anthology, there were a lot of people who did not, how do I say this? There were a few people who put pressure in situations where there didn't need to be. There were a few people who acted as if they did not understand when changes needed to be made. And those people made the management of the project a little difficult, right? So again, just understand that there will be some difficulties that will arise. But this is your vision. This is your baby. You are equipped. You can handle it. But just know, people management and expectations management is a huge part of an anthology project, and it has absolutely nothing to do with their submissions. Okay, so just being mindful of that. People management and expectation management, because that is where you will spend a lot of your time, staying on top of people. Have you submitted your book project? Have you cleared your invoices? Have you sent in your bio and your headshot? And have you sent in your payment process? So like staying on top of people, there will be a lot of that. You will have to babysit adults. You will have to hold some hands. You will have to nudge and push and call and Facebook message and email, and you'll be ignored. But I promise you, you will eventually get what you need. Okay, so people management and expectation management, those are huge components of an anthology project. So make sure that you are equipped. Now, the next thing that I want to say to you guys is this. An anthology, again, is a project that is a lot of work, which means that you will need a team. At bare minimum, these are the people that you will need if you can't manage this process by yourself. You will need a project manager, right? You will need a project manager. You will need a writing coach. If somebody's never submitted their stories before, or they've never written before, you will need somebody to coach them to bring out their story so that it is in alignment with the vision for your project. Okay, so you will need a project manager and a coach. You will also need an editor, right? Y'all jotting these down. Project manager, you will need a project manager. You will need a coach. You don't have to get a coach. Maybe you're a coach yourself and you can bring it out of people. So, these are just some basic premises, basic folks that you'll need to have around the table with you, right? So you'll need to have a project manager, a coach. You will most definitely need an editor. Here's the other thing about anthologies. Anthologies should essentially have one voice. Why? Because typically all of these projects have one theme. Although we are submitting individual stories, they should all lead back to the overall theme of the project. So an anthology, any great editor, coach will work to make sure that the voices, while individual, are still in alignment with the greater purpose. Okay. So project manager, coach, editor. You will need a graphics person. You will need somebody to design your book cover. You will need somebody to, design your landing page or your website or whatever it is that you're going to offer. You will need someone that is familiar with graphics design. Now, yes, you can go through Fiverr or any of those inexpensive places. Or if you're a DIYer and you're great with creative design, most certainly take your hand at it, take a stab at it yourself. But if you aren't creative in that aspect and you don't know anyone, because these projects typically have a lot of people involved, I'm going to suggest that you go the professional route and hire you a graphics designer. Okay. So project manager, coach, editor, graphics designer. You will need a book interior formatter. Right? You will need somebody to design the pages to look how you want them to look. For example, do you want every author's picture at the top of their story submission? Or do you want their pictures at the back of the book? Do you want some sort of funky font for the page numbers? Do you want some funky heading or a special type of lettering or font or spacing or call outs or text boxes or whatever the case may be? You will need to hire someone that can assist you with the interior formatting and design of your book. Okay, so you will most definitely need that. So project manager, coach, editor, graphics person, interior formatter, and you may also consider this, and this is not something that I did, but you may also consider having a PR professional on your staff, because somebody will need to teach them how to pitch to the media, which is television and local radio. It could also be blog talk radio stations. It could also be YouTube videos. People have Facebook Live shows. It's all of that. Okay. So you'll need to consider a PR person if you choose. That's not, something that you have to do. If you're very good about pitching yourself and the qualities of a good pitch, what makes a good pitch because it's worked for you in the past, then by all means share your tips. Remember value. Remember, think about education and training opportunities that you can offer them. Okay. Now, in addition to a PR person, you will also need to hire a publisher if you're not going the self-publishing route, which if you choose to self-publish your anthology, that's perfectly fine. Just be upfront with people and let them know, okay? So you will need a publisher. You will need somebody to publish your book. Whether you want to go with if you're going to go the self-publishing route, there are options there. But if you want a boutique publishing company or a hybrid publishing company, there are options that are available. And they can help you with some of the publishing related expenses, ISBN number and copyright number and barcode and digital distribution and all of that. So your publisher will help to make sure that you have all of that taken care of properly. You will also need a distributor and or a printer, a book printer. Now, there are book distribution companies that is all they do. They just print your books and mail out the copies either to you or to the individual authors. They do not put your book on Amazon. They do not monitor your sales. They are not sending you any royalties. Their sole responsibility is to distribute and print your book. Now, typically when it comes to a distribution company, you are able to get your books at wholesale price. Wholesale price is between $2.50 and $4.50. Remember, I said you should not charge any less than $19.97 for an anthology. So you do the math. That is 100% of every book sold goes back to your contributing author. Does that make sense? So that's all that they do though. And typically you would just need to send them your cover. You would need to send them your book formatted. They'll let you know what the price is, how much the shipping will cost, and they'll get those books out to you. Okay, so at bare minimum, those are the people that you will need to have on your team. Again, this is a large project, so you will need to have a team to help you manage certain aspects. Now, let me say this, please, which is why I talked about the financial investment, because you have to pay all those people. So make sure that you are charging what this project is really worth so that you can cover everything that you need to cover and make a profit. Now, I hear you. This is about me helping people to publish their stories, and I'm not trying to make any money. I don't agree with that thinking and that mentality. You should not be doing anything related to your business and not seeing some sort of profit or return on your investment. That's just the bottom line. And anyone that has a problem with that, you tell them to come see me. Okay, you should be making a profit off of everything that you do that is related to your business, and unapologetically, right? Because we're in business to make money, and anything that we do should be about making money. Now, you may be saying, Tamika, you released an anthology. Did you make any profit? I did not. I did not include in my price enough money for me to make a profit. That is your choice. I'm saying you need to make a profit because now I know better, right? Yes, Jackie, I was totally thinking of you with that statement, okay? Now now I know that I need to make a profit because there were a lot of expenses I covered out of pocket because I did not include that into their investment. Okay, so just keeping it all the way real with you guys. This is a private training, and that's the whole point, for you to get the nitty gritty, not just the good, but the highs and the lows as well. Okay, so again, make sure that their investment can cover every single expense. Think about everything, the book launch, the cover reveal, the book release party. Are you ordering a cake? You want copies there? What kind of event? Are you renting a space? Are you going to have speakers? Do you need live sound? Like, think about everything. You want a DJ? You want a band? What? Think about it all, because you got to be able to cover those expenses, and you don't want to do it to the detriment of your household. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Okay, so you don't want to do that. All right. Now, a couple of things to mention about the cover and the copies, and then I'm going to stop here because I wanted the training to be about 45 minutes so that you guys can ask me any questions. Now, as it pertains to the cover, two options. You can keep a general cover, front and back, or you can offer them what's known as vanity covers. A vanity cover is something where that contributing author has their picture on the back of the book. Doesn't change the interior, doesn't change the content, doesn't change the fact that it's an anthology. It's just something to say, this is my own, right? Has their picture, their bio on the back. Vanity covers cost additional money. So if that's something that you want to offer, going back to perceived value and point number one, that is totally your choice, right? That's totally your choice. So copies is something else to consider. Are you wanting to include free copies with their investment? And if so, how many copies are you comfortable with giving? Because you're including it in the price, but essentially you're giving them away, which means that somebody's going to have to pay for that, which is why I'm saying charge accordingly. Somebody's going to have to pay for those copies. The distributor's not going to say, oh, I just believe in you so much, Brenda, I'm just going to give you these books for free. That is not the way that it's going to be. They're going to be like, oh, okay, that's no problem. $4.50 a book times 100 pages times 100 copies. Boom, this is your price. Or if you don't want to include that in their pricing, then be willing to make that investment into your own project. There are multiple ways to be able to do this. So when you're factoring in the cost, factor in all the cost, because again, that leads you to an expected end and a greater return. No one wants to do a project where they are financially in the hole. No one wants to be a project where they are in the red and not in the black, or at least I don't want to do anything like that, right? So that's what I'm saying, is that, so just make sure that you are, careful. I know, right, Brenda? Make sure that you are covering everything, that you are factoring everything into your price point, so that you can have, so that everything is covered. At the end of the day, make sure that everything is covered. Now, before I get to you guys' question, and you can start putting them on the screen if you have some, a couple of questions were submitted to me electronically, so I do want to make sure that I answer those first. The first question that was submitted to me is how many copies I gave to my particular writers. The one thing that I gave to them, what I gave them is 20 free copies of the 20 free copies of the book. So that was included in their price. And again, if you go back to the email that I sent out a little bit ago this afternoon, it will show you all of that is in the contract. Okay. Oh, let me say this right here before I move on. Contracts. You need a contract. No verbal agreements, no handshake and a hug. You need a contract that details in black and white what it is that you're going to offer, what you're going to do, what you expect of them, and everything else that comes with it. The payment schedule, the investment amount, how you're going to get the payments, what, blah, boom, 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 what you're going to give them, etc. So make sure you have contracts, people, contracts. And if those contracts need to be amended along the way, amend the contract, send it out, make sure everybody has their signature on it. I cannot tell you how that, what that does from the protection of your standpoint as well as theirs. So make sure you have contracts. So that was the first question is asked about the number of copies. And one of the other things that I offered my anthology contributing authors was a landing page. You guys know what landing pages are and sales pages. So I offered them their own landing page. And so what I required of them was a professional bio, 150 words or less, a 300 and above DPI high resolution headshot, so that when it was time for them to promote their landing page or the anthology website, it was very professional and everything was consistent across the board. And I also required them to submit their payment processors so that they could get their money. Because basically they kept 100% of whatever the proceeds were that they made. When it came time for us to do the book signing and the official book release party, they split those proceeds evenly, right? Everybody takes home money, everybody sells books. It's a win-win, right? It's a win-win for them anyway. I didn't get any money from their release party. So yes, contracts. Payment processors. If people don't know what a payment processor is, PayPal, Square, Stripe, those are payment processors. What do they want to connect to their landing page so that they can start to really to get in those sales, right? Those individual sales. And that was all of my notes. What questions do you guys have? We have about 13 minutes left for this particular training. So what questions do you guys have? Hopefully you got lots of good notes. I didn't see a lot of comments, so I hope that meant that you were taking notes and not that I was boring you. But it's too much energy to bore you, right? Of course. So what questions do you guys have? And yes, I'm checking my phone because for whatever reason, when you broadcast from the computer, I don't get to see the comments. Hey, Coach Rebecca, thanks so much. How do you come up with the title? So again, remember, anthologies have themes. So my community is Self-Assured Woman, which you guys know that's watching this video. My community is Self-Assured Woman. So when it came time for me to think about an anthology project, I wanted it to be in alignment with the name of my community. So A Woman's Journey to Self-Assurance. That was easy. But I've also seen them from, something like Diamonds in the Rough, or the one that I'm working on now is We Are Women of Substance. So there are different ways that you can just think about the theme. What do you want the stories to consist of? Or you want people to tell stories of overcoming abuse? Do you want to talk about something maybe with the word overcoming in the title, or bounce back, or 21 stories of resilience? I don't know. These are just some things that I'm kind of tossing off the top of my head. Just so you'll know, get an idea. But that's kind of how you have to think about, think about your brand again, because it has to be in alignment with your brand and the moves that you're making. Think about your brand. Think about what it is that you are wanting to offer. Think about the stories that you want to receive. Do you want it to just be from women? Do you want it to be co-ed with men and women? Maybe you want to publish one for teens, or, younger kids, or older aging beauties, I don't know, or career professionals or entrepreneurs, or, I don't know, whatever. Not whatever, but just as much as you can think of in your mind, the spectrum is just that broad. So there are lots of ways that you can sort of create a theme. I'm so glad that you're excited, Coach Rebecca. It's an exciting thing, and anthologies are great. I've worked on them. I've released my own. They are great. They're a great way to serve a multitude of people at once. And if done well, it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity. It's a great positioning thing. It's a great value proposition. It's a great, again, launching of your personal library and creating your personal brand leverage. Like, it's great for all of that. So there's definitely a place for them in the literary industry. And again, I see them being on the rise. So there are, a lot of people are paying attention to them. A lot of people are starting them, and I've had horror stories, just like I know that you guys have heard horror stories, which is why I wanted to do this session tonight, because I want to make sure that people are creating these projects and doing them the right way. I can't tell you how many people felt as if they told their story with nothing in return, and you have the one creator who has all the money and not offered anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, those things happen. People, and I think also, and this is just me being honest, people see anthologies as big money makers, and because they see them as big money makers, that's how they're going to treat them. And you'll see they're charging $5,000 to submit 2,500 words, and they're not showing them how in the world they're going to get back $2,500. You understand what I'm saying? So again, that's nothing wrong with that if your brand can deliver that. You know what I'm saying? It's all good with me. As long as you can show me how I can get my money back and then some, I'm good with it. So just think about that. Thank you, Coach Rebecca. I appreciate you. Any other questions? There have to be some questions. I know I didn't do that good of a job. I know that I did not do that good of a job. There have to be some questions. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. I hope I dispelled some myths, and I hope that I shed some light on some areas, and maybe shown you something or talked about something that you hadn't considered before. I didn't get any questions except for the 3 that I answered just now, but otherwise no one else had any questions that they submitted to me ahead of time. So, I knew that we would have some here on tonight. So any other questions, or what questions? We have 8 minutes left. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Brenda, my online BFF. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I was very thorough. Well, that's great. I didn't even get to contributing authors, but I figured I would come from the standpoint of the creator. I thought that would be more beneficial, because the authors will do whatever it is that you ask of them. So, and that's pretty individual. So you can create that you can create that on your own accord. So. And remember, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So make sure that what you are offering far outweighs what you are asking of them. Okay, so just think about that as well. And if this has been helpful, if you guys don't mind doing me a little bit of a Facebook Live, get it together, Tanika. A little bit of a Facebook testimony, so that I can keep sharing information, testimonials are just important to have in business. So if you guys don't mind, you can either send it to me or tag me in it on Facebook. I would greatly appreciate that. And I don't see anything, but I don't want to leave prematurely. So I'm going to wait another 25 seconds, and y'all get to look at me and the writing on the wall. I'm in my studio, right? Of course, you guys know that. I'm always in the studio when I'm doing a video. But we are doing a little bit of reconstruction. So you see here, door frame being built, and that room back there, it's being built. I would turn it around, but if I turn the camera around, it looks like I can't even begin to tell you. So we've been taking measurements. So you see all the numbers behind me. That's why, because I said, well, there's really no good clean space, so we're going to make this work. I hope that wasn't too distracting. Thank you so much, Jackie. Well, I don't see anything else, ladies, so I'm going to wish you all a good night. I'm going to go ahead and share this video with those that were unable to make it live, and profusely apologize. It just, technology was not on my side today. But they'll still be able to have access to the session. Remember, please download this video for the next 24 hours because I will be taking it off of my timeline completely. So it will not be available to you after these 24 hours is up. So make sure that you go ahead and download this video as soon as I am finished so you don't forget. So that you don't forget. Contract is in your email. I think that's it. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful and amazing evening. Any questions that you have in the future, please let me know. Thank you all. Wishing you a successful and prosperous 2018 as you are publishing anthologies that will help to get the message out of many, many, many people. Bye.